Good morning, class. Welcome to St. Peter's School. This is your science class, and in previous class, we were discussing about the topic momentum. What is momentum? So now today we are going to start with the third law of motion. That is last Newton's has three laws of motion. Two we already have completed. Now today we are going to discuss about the third law of motion. So before starting the class, I would request all the students please take out your books and keep in front of you when you are watching this video. So let's start with the third law of motion and have a quick reading. Newton's third law of motion states that whenever a body exerts a force on another body, the second body exerts an equal and opposite force on the first body. Okay, so what does it mean? Like suppose if the one body is coming, moving body is coming, and another body is also in a moving condition. It is so what happened when they will come in contact and they try to force each other because they are having a different momentum. They are they are moving with a different momentum, different force, so they will equally they will force each other, and the second body exerts an equal and opposite force on the first body. Okay, so what it's trying to say that the Newton's third law of motion states that whenever a body exerts a force on another body, the second body exerts an equal and opposite force on the first body. Okay, so suppose so take a very another example, very common example. Suppose if you're forcing a table to move, so it doesn't mean that table has no magnitude, no weight to put a force on you. They also put force on you to be in a rest condition only. So this is the third law of motion. So according to third law of motion, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. This tell us that all forces in nature acts in pair. So it what it means, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. It means whenever you will try to force something, whenever you try to change something, equally the person will try to change you, or equally the force will be applied from that object which you're trying to force. These two forces are always equal in magnitude but the opposite in direction. These two forces are always equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. And these two forces are always opposite in direction. Okay. These forces act on different objects and never on the same object. Okay. We are not talking about the same object. We are talking about the two different objects. If you throw there is some very common example given around given regarding this. If you know, if you throw a heavy ball or a block away from your body, the force exerted will push back on you, possibly pushing you backward onto the ground. A book lying on a table exerts a force on the table. Okay, this very first example might you have seen sometimes a cricketer bowling, like the bowler in a cricket field when he try to throw a ball. After throwing a ball, he moves from the his place backward. So might you, if you have not seen, and from next time you just observe it. जब भी वो बॉल को फेंकता है बहुत ही फोर्स से, in the same way he come backward. So what happened? The bowler puts force on the ball to cover a large distance. In the same way, ball also put a force on the bowler man. A book lying on a table exerts a force on the table which is equal to the weight of the book. The table supports the book by exerting an equal force on the book. As the system is at rest, net force on it is zero. Therefore, forces of action and reaction must be equal and opposite. What is trying to say that if the book is kept on a table, book is also putting force on the table, and table is also putting the same force on the book to balance the book, and book is also balancing himself on the table. It means the force applied by the book and force applied by the table is equal. That way it is not moving from their place. And when a gun is fired, the bullet moves forward, the gun recoils backward. So this is also the very common example of equal and opposite reaction. Now, a very important topic on page, you can see on the page number 15, law of conservation of momentum. I think this is the very last topic of your chapter, and after this, we are going to complete our first chapter. So let's see what is this law of conservation of momentum. Suppose an object A has a mass m1 and its initial velocity is u1. It means an object B has mass 2 and the initial velocity is u2. Okay, so before that, just have a look on the video. What is law of conservation of momentum? Law of conservation of linear momentum is extremely important consequence of Newton's third law of motion. Okay, so from where it is derived? It is derived from the Newton's third law. In the first law, what we derived? In first law we derived what is balance force and what is unbalanced force. In second law we derived what is momentum, and in third law we derive what is conservation of momentum. So according to law of conservation of momentum, when two or more bodies acts upon each other, their total momentum remains constant provided no external force are acting. So momentum is never created or destroyed. When this law is applied for a collision between two bodies, the total momentum of the colliding bodies before collision is equal to the total momentum after the collision. We can apply this law for collision between two vehicles. This law is applicable for all types of collision. Okay, what is trying to say that like momentum never create and or never destroyed, means all the bodies are having natural momentum in it. It is not means that a table has created some momentum inside it, where like before looking that somebody is coming to force him. Suppose a wall is standing and you are going to force the wall, it doesn't mean wall is started creating a force inside it when he is seeing like somebody is coming to push him. So it doesn't happens like this. Momentum is already stored in everybody, every person, everybody, every object has its own momentum. So it is not created or not destroyed, it cannot be destroyed also. Okay, according to, might be it is sometimes a two different momentum, but it is not like that, that there is a no momentum in the body. Okay, so when this law is applied for a collision between two bodies, the total momentum of the colliding bodies before collision is equal to the momentum after the collision. So what happened? Like for suppose the bodies move and two body has different momentum, but when they collide again, what happened? The momentum becomes equal. Okay. We can apply this law for the collision between two vehicles. This law is applicable. For example, जब दो गाड़ियां आती है आपस में चलती है और टकराती है, what happened? Both the vehicles fell down. Okay, and what happened there? Their momentum equalize. Consider two particles, say A and B of mass 1 and mass 2, collide with each other, and force acting on these particles are only the ones they exert on each other. Let u and b1 be the initial and the final velocity of particle A, and similarly u2 and b2 for the particle B. Let the two particles be in contact for a time, so change in momentum is equal to, for the first object will be m1 into v1 and u1, because we have studied this. What is mv? Mv is the force, right? So mv and v, what is v? Because there is initial velocity and final velocity, so we will take out a final velocity, so v1 minus u1. In the same way, change in momentum of b is equal to m2 v2 u2. During the collision, let a impart a average force equal to f. Okay, so if it is considered that average force for the first particle is F and B for B, F. So FBA and for B particle FAB on A. We know that the from third law of motion FB is equal to minus FAB, means these both should be equal according to third law of motion. So when we put all the values like FBA's value is m2 v2 u2, and what is v minus u? It's the rate of change of momentum, that is a2 ma, acceleration. Okay, so fab m1 a1, in the same way when you will put the formula, What is A? Is V2 minus U2 by T. T, putting the above to M2, you will get like this. Then you will finally get like this, M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Cancelling T both sides. Now M1 U1 plus M2 U2 represents the total momentum particles A and B before collision, and M1 V1 plus M2 V2 represents the total momentum particles after the collision. This means that total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Equation 5, which m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2, is known as the law of conservation of momentum, and this equation is only known as the law of conservation of momentum. Okay, so with this we are going to end our class here only, and in next class we will start with some question and answer given on page number 16. So just keep revising all the points which already discussed. So till the time, take care and bye bye.